Well, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to Royal Break. Maybe I should make Royal Break a new show now that I'm never doing socialism again because it's driven me crazy. I couldn't my tiara wasn't fitting, and so like the reason I'm going live a little bit later is I had to get the tiara to fit. You can't do a royal stream without the tiara. I also couldn't find my royal robe that I wore for the coronation stream. And I was mad. I was like, I put this in my, like, I know where I put it. And now the royal robe has vanished off into the ether. It's in my house somewhere. but, exactly. Everyone hail me. I'm wearing a crown and everything. You have to. It's the rule. So I bent the tiara into submission to make it fit. I almost had to go with the backup tiara, which is really just a sparkly headband. But if we're gonna do Royal Stream, we're gonna make the real tiara work. That's just the way it goes. Is everyone looking fancy today? All right. So we're not doing any more of this drama bullshit. I decided. I understand that we had yes, I did get new headphones because my other ones broke, and now these are sideways. I haven't quite gotten them to fit around the tiara yet. They're exactly the same pair I had, except the other ones broke. Thank you, Milk Tea Groiper. I do appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I reached like 5 hours of bullshit yesterday arguing with idiots. I've peaked. And did you guys know they did a whole stream of their own about me? And I understand we wanted to make it as meta as possible. I really do. And I know that was an important goal and that goal meant something to people, but I can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm getting stupider by the day and I just can't. So what we're going to do instead is I don't know, Kino, whatever ones I bought on Amazon last time, they work just fine. I don't need anything fancy or anything. Yeah, they're vampires. They're parasites. They suck the life out of you. I am so tired. It's like a 5-hour drama stream yesterday. Like, I slept in so late today. I was like, I can't. So instead, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have royal time. Now, I don't know how many of you actually, because like this is actually a thing for me. I do actually kind of like obsess about the royals and follow the royals, and like on my Instagram feed, it's all royal, all the time. Not just the United Kingdom royals, not just the most famous royals, the other royals too. The Norwegian royals, the Netherlands royals, the Denmark royals, the Swedish royals. So I don't know how many of you are actually into this stuff, but I actually am into it. And of course, you guys know that for the coronation, for King Charles's coronation, we did an epic kind of like we started at like 2 a.m. and we watched King George the Sixth coronation, and then we watched Queen Elizabeth the Second coronation, and then right around like what was it, like 5 a.m. we finally got to like King Charles the Third's coronation, and we did like 3 coronations back to back. And so I thought when this documentary came out and I found it on YouTube, I thought that this would be a nice little activity because they have recently released a documentary and someone put it on YouTube. And so I'm going to say that it's like fair game for me to watch the documentary on YouTube. And so this is King Charles III, the coronation year. And what this documentary is it does like behind the scenes, like never before seen footage of the royals as like, you know, when King Charles like obviously like took over and then all the way up through coronation. And so I thought we'd watch it and talk about it and enjoy it and have some fun. Is everyone here for that? Can we just have like a total like chill, man? Chill. Relaxed. I don't want to shout. I don't want to do anything but watch royals, okay? Is everyone okay with that? I have some beer because why not? Let's see, what ones do I have? We could do a chai cruller pastry stout, or you know what? Let's start with like the non-imperial. Oh, my tiara's gonna fall down. Oh no, hang on. Hang on. I have to keep my head at a certain certain angle in order for the tiara to not fall down. Hang on. Okay. So what I'm drinking is it's a Cruller free that's a Crullerful Life, and it's from Northwoods Brewing Company, which is in New Hampshire. And this is not like it's an imperial as well, I guess, 8%. And it's a chai cruller pastry stout. I've never had this before. And so that's what we're going to drink. And if you guys have anything fun, I know it's Friday. It's 6:30, so it's well into happy hour. Yeah, Sin, they did a whole stream about me last night too. I almost was like, I saw it and I was like, can I? No, I can't. I fucking can't. I can't. I can play it up for a certain, like it sucked all my energy, man, to like have to deal with that bullshit. I just can't do it. They're begging me on Twitter to unblock them. I'm like, I really don't want to though. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. Let's see. That is a beautiful stout. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's not like fruffy or like girly or any of that stuff. Just a nice stout that has a little bit of sweetness to it. Had I known, I'd have ordered a Royal Crown Cola. Well, you know, next time. Next time. Oh no, he is nowhere near finishing that Lego set. Nowhere near it. It's like, you know, he's taking his time. That's all right. All right, so we're going to watch some royal content. No, I'm not going to switch to a drama channel. No, 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 no. No, no, no. That's enough. That's enough. You know what it's like for me? It's like you know how you go on vacation and then you get tired from the vacation and you're like, I just want to go back to like real life now. Can we just go back to real life, please? Can like I'm tired of being on vacation. I mean, I did reach a pretty decent amount of meta, I think. I think I did pretty well. You just got a shipment of yarn? What'd you get? I started yesterday. I had to take it out after the stream because it was like I needed to fix it. But I've started like the second part. I'm basically kind of doing a take on the MCAL. But I'm going to do my own take on it where I'm doing some mesh around this square that I made. So William's coronation is going to be epic. I can't wait. I hope they, you know what? Here's my hope. I hope they bring back for William's coronation some of like the pomp and the pageantry and the outfits and the grandeur. I feel like with King Charles's coronation, it was respectable, don't get me wrong. There were some beautiful moments, but like I feel like my favorite moment in the history of coronations is like in Queen Elizabeth II coronation when they put the crown on her head and then in the backdrop you see all the peerage. They put on all their coronets at the same time and like it's so grand and the music just goes and it's just like it's so beautiful. And I was like, I want the coronets, I want the robes, I want the pageantry, I don't want the royals to be slimmed down. I don't want the royals to like not have like all like spend as much fucking money as you want. I know I'm not in the UK, so I don't have to pay for it, but it's like it's a coronation, man. It's a coronation. It's a coronation. Can like King Charles's coronation was the first coronation in 70 years. This is not an everyday affair. This is an affair that calls for pomp and circumstance and like just over the top extravagance. That's what royalty is. So I hope Williams gets a little bit more grand than Charles's, but that's all right. Catherine, thank you for being a member of the channel for 35 months, almost 3 years, Catherine. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Carlin, and everyone watching. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Catherine. And then a big super chat from Trendolin. Thank you, Trendolin. Please do us a big favor before the new year. No! Trendolin is trying to guilt me into watching the Whatever podcast. God damn it, Trendolin. Revisit another whatever podcast. It is so fun seeing you frustrated and upset with love. Well, at least Trendolin sent in a $50 super chat along with, demanding to torture me by making me watch another whatever podcast. Oh, man. All right. Well, let's just jump right into it. Kino, you don't understand the appeal of royalty. It's probably because you're a man. I don't know that men. This is more women's time. I feel like, Kino. Like, you're welcome to stay. I'm not going to kick you out or anything, but I feel like this is more of like a woman's experience. This is one of the few feminine tendencies that I have is towards royalty. All right, well, let's just get started, and we're gonna see how this documentary goes. And I'm really excited about it. And I want some pomp. I want some pageantry. HG Tutor has entered the chat. Indeed. It's like they're all narcissists. So HG Tutor he actually has diagnosed the royal family beyond just like the 87 videos he does about Meghan Markle every day. He says that King Charles is a narcissist. He says that Camilla is a narcissist. He says that William is a normal and Kate is an empath. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get started. This hour and a half.
So should we just check we've got the last little final marks in there?
Yes, I did it all.
We kept it our, I think,
Oh, I haven't done
our
the
Lord Jesus Christ.
Christ.
Can we do that?
Can I just borrow your pen?
Yes, of course.
A second.
I think the Christmas speech is enormously important.
Oh, the Christmas
This
speech.
certainly is an historic one. It's the first one that hasn't been given by Queen Elizabeth for many, many, many years.
Do you want me to do that one? I'm standing here in this exquisite chapel of St. George at Windsor Castle, so close to where my beloved mother, the late Queen, is laid to rest with my dear father. I'm reminded of the deeply touching letters, cards, and messages which so many of you have sent my wife and myself. And I cannot thank you enough for the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family. Is that?
Yeah.
With all my heart.
I mean, I was skeptical about Charles when hang on. I'm futzing with the height of my desk. I have a stand-up desk so I can move it up and down really quickly, and I'm like futzing with the height of it. Or thank you, Trendolin. Or can we do a marathon of teacher videos like the Boner song? Maybe we'll do like a New Year's Day marathon of like middle school sex ed videos or something. We could do that. I could do, but like the thing about those videos is they're not all the Boner song or the Penguin song. It's like there are a couple that are really catchy and cringy, but I mean, we'll think about it, Trendolin. I promise. Are narcissists born or created? Both. So, well, it's a combination of both, because you have to, in order to become a narcissist, you have to have the genes. Like one of your parents, one of your grandparents has to be a narcissist, and you have to be nurtured like in a certain way in your childhood, which is to say not a whole lot at all. It's like, certain like primary needs need to be withheld in your childhood. So it's a combination of the two. If you have the genes, but you don't have the nurture, then you're not going to become a narcissist. And if you have the nurture, but you don't have the genes, then you're not going to become a narcissist. But if you have both, then you will probably become a narcissist. So like I was skeptical. I really thought that like Charles was going to burn down the whole monarchy when the Queen died. But I feel like Charles has done like a really good job. I mean, it makes sense. He was in the apprentice role of the job for like 70 years. And this is why I don't actually have a problem with like the idea of a monarchy. I actually think the idea of a monarchy, of having like this one stable unit that is just always there, and it's like Charles did not become king at coronation. Charles became king the moment that Elizabeth took her last breath. And then and it's just like this constant, and I think that was a really cool thing to actually see, was like, just how it was constant and stable and steady. And it's like Charles has done a good job. Like Charles has like shown up. He hasn't done anything crazy. And it's just like, and the people love him and they wanted to love him. And like the outpouring of like support for the royal family after the queen died, it was like you almost thought you were seeing kind of like a dying institution. And then, you saw the whole country like waiting in line for like that queue to see the queen's coffin was like 12 hours long. You had to wait in that line just to see that coffin for a moment and bow or curtsy to it. But like people were doing that all day, every day for a week. It's like you see how much the country really does love them, and they might have their ups and downs with like the news cycle or whatever, but like the monarchy is constant. And there is something to be said for like having this head of state that has been an apprentice for the role for 70 years, as Charles was. William will probably be an apprentice for less time, right? Like William is going to be like, I mean, like who knows, like maybe like, 10 to 20 years and then William's going to be king. But like you have this super long like apprenticeship role. You learn the role, you learn what to do. They have like all these people that are just bound by like tradition to help you. And it's just like, it's one of those things that I think can be used very diplomatically to have just like these positive relationships with other countries, because like the leaders of those countries have always known the royals and stuff like that. So I'm actually kind of a fan of the system itself of monarchy.
I wish each of you a Christmas of peace, happiness, and everlasting light.
We were right at the end of our summer holiday, and my phone went, and my chief of staff just said, London Bridge.
London Bridge was the plan for the Queen dying. Rottweiler, thank you for the super chat. You could also try an occasional gig about debunking right-wing influencers. Right-wingers say the darndest things. I've thought about that, Rottweiler. Maybe that's a good idea. I mean, it gets some like angst out of my system and all that stuff. That's not a bad idea. We'll think about that for the new year.
And it was an extraordinary moment.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth.
This is someone I'd known and deeply admired and respected. Someone who'd always been there, all the things that everyone else felt. Plus, I suddenly thought, everything we've practiced for, everything we thought about is now going to happen.
I mean, so they have like plans in place for like the Queen's death or like the King's death now. They have those things set in stone for like years and years and years. And it's like all of these different things that have to happen after the Queen dies to make sure there's just like a smooth, seamless transition to allow for the mourning period. Like, I mean, it's just like, it really is incredible the way that they plan all of this stuff out to like the most finite detail. And like, so for example, like when Diana died, they didn't have a plan for her because she was no longer part of the royal family. So what they did is they took the Queen Mother's plan, and they kind of like, when they had to have that kind of like emergency funeral because the public was so outraged that the monarchy wasn't doing enough to honor Diana, but Diana wasn't part of the royal family at that point. And so they were like, it's a private matter, but then they had to do something because the public was getting really pissed. So they took the Queen Mother's funeral plans and they made that for Diana. And the Queen Mother was not actually a fan of that because Queen Mother didn't like Diana. But that's just the way it went because they have all this stuff planned out to like a T. And they had an extra plan with the Queen because the Queen died in Scotland. She died at Balmoral, which was basically like her favorite place to be. And so it seems as though her family really, like, they all knew she was dying, right? They knew that the Platinum Jubilee, when she had that last balcony moment, was going to be like basically the last time that the public saw her. And so they basically had to convince her to go to Balmoral, which is like her favorite place. And so there was and she didn't want to go because she knew that if she died at Balmoral, there was like a whole extra rigmarole, and the family was like, you've done your part. Like the family had to convince her at the end to put herself above service to her country of dying at Windsor Castle rather than Balmoral, where she actually wanted to be. And so they finally convinced her to go, apparently. But I mean, that says a lot, doesn't it? It's like the queen is like on her deathbed, 96 years old, and she's still putting duty to the country of like, I have to die at Windsor because it's going to make life easier for everyone if I die at Windsor, over like going to Balmoral where she actually wanted to be.
In my case, it was purely serendipity that I was there, and I'd been in 2 days up on the West Coast, and I was coming back, stayed the night, and was going south. We always enjoyed being in Balmoral. We spent a lot of time there in our youth, and there was, a lot of it was probably more in.
Listen, Grace, I'm not opposed to talking to you right now, but we're not doing drama right now. We're doing royalty right now. If you want to stick around and do royalty with us, you're more than welcome to. I've just had a lot of drama over the last couple days. We're chilling. If you want to chill with us, you're welcome to stay. I won't insult you or anything like that because I don't know you and I just don't really care right now. But thank you for stopping by. I'm managing an expectation that we're doing royal time right now. So that's what we're doing.
Independent life than almost anywhere else. That's probably still true. That's a bonus. I think there was a moment when
See, Grace is
felt
one of
that
us.
it would,
Thank you, Grace.
It would be more difficult if she died at Balmoral.
Salad is ready.
And I think we did try and persuade her that that shouldn't be part of the decision-making process. So I hope she felt that that was that was right in the end, because I think that we did.
Can you imagine being a pallbearer for the Queen's funeral? Like, you are responsible for carrying the body of the Queen? Like, that would be some pressure, man. Oh, God. Meghan and Harry. Well, Meghan is a raging narcissist, and Harry is, I feel bad for him because he's been taken in by a narcissist, and he's just not smart enough to know how to get out of the situation. And I'm not commenting on your intelligence, Grace, but I'm just saying that your father is a lot like Meghan. And it's for the best, whatever's I don't mean to start shit, but like your father's a lot like Meghan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Put on your crown. It's all good.
My mother's funeral in St. George's, he takes the crown off the coffin. I rather weirdly felt a sense of relief.
Another
Somehow that's
time,
it.
I promise. Another
Finished.
time.
But that was that responsibility being moved on.
To my darling Mama, as you begin your last great journey to join my dear late Papa, I want simply to say this. Thank you. Thank you for your love and devotion to our family and to the family of nations you have served so diligently all these years. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
One of the most beautiful things when Elizabeth died was over Buckingham Palace when Elizabeth died, there were 2 rainbows, and it was like Elizabeth and Philip were like looking down saying, "We're cool. We're cool. We're together again."
To be honest, I'm not sure that anybody can really prepare themselves for that kind of change, not at least not easily. And then the change happens and you go, okay, I now have to get on with it.
The plan is the 2 of them together in white, and then Her Majesty second, and then it still stays white, and then King Charles third, and then rotate it once to black. Okay.
The reign of King Charles and Queen Camilla is a new era in the history of the monarchy. At the heart of every successful reign, there's a strong partnership. To celebrate that bond, the King and Queen are having their first official portraits taken by royal photographer Hugo Bernand.
I think about every photograph I take, what is the information that the viewer...
Well, yeah, this happened though because Henry wanted to divorce Catherine and marry his mistress, who was Anne Boleyn. And the reason that they gave is that the king is ordained by God, and it's like divine providence that he's the king. And so why shouldn't he be the head of the church? But really, it was just because he wanted to fuck Anne Boleyn. That was what it was. Anne Boleyn was holding out. She said that she would. Henry had already had an affair with Anne's sister, Mary, and so Anne knew better than to put out right away. So Anne was holding out, and then Henry knew that he had to marry her to get her to have sex. Although it was kind of rumored that they may have had sex beforehand, but she held out like a long time. And so eventually he did divorce Catherine and marry her because he wanted to fuck her. Did you see the corgis and the horses? Yes. Well, even like when they brought her to like Windsor, they had the corgis out. They had her ponies out. Just got here. What I like most about the royals is continuity. They have to change with the times, but there is a sense of stability that the U.S. doesn't have. I agree. I thought Camilla wasn't gonna. So no, I mean, the queen for her platinum, Camilla never wanted to be queen. Like she never wanted that title because it was like too big of like a thing. But like the queen for her platinum jubilee, like issued this letter saying that she wanted Camilla to take the title of queen after she died. And I think Charles always wanted Camilla to be queen. And I mean, there was no way around it. Like there's never been like a princess consort in the history of England. Like Camilla was always going to have to take the role of queen, but they really had to warm her up to it, and they had to warm the public up to it. That's why, well, no, I mean, she's the queen consort, she's the queen consort because she's not the queen regnant. So like, when a queen is married to a king, she has the title of queen consort, right? That's all queens. But they use the queen consort title between when Elizabeth died and the coronation, but then after the coronation they call her the queen, right? But like Elizabeth wasn't the queen consort, Elizabeth was the queen regnant, which means she was like a queen, like a ruler, a sovereign. Let's see. Yeah, he did want a son, and Catherine wasn't producing a son. That's right.
is going to take from this? What are they going to feel? How are they going to interpret it? When you look at the photograph, I want you, the viewer, to feel like you're in conversation with the person in the photograph. And you're going to turn more towards the light. You're on the spot. We've spent 2 days here practicing, lighting, kicking ideas around. It's almost like you guys aren't on the right spot. I'm sure you are, It's just I'm not getting the red chair in, which I was getting before. So go a bit closer.
Hang on. No, Henry did get a male heir. Well, sadly he died though. Like Henry did have a male heir. It was with the woman that he married after Anne Boleyn, who was Jane Seymour. And Jane Seymour was the wife he loved the most anyway. Like Jane Seymour is the wife that he ended up being buried with. But he did have a male heir, but it was like the male heir died not long after like he took the throne essentially. And he was really young too. I think he was like 10 or 11 when he was like really young. And then the crown passed to Mary, Bloody Mary Tudor, and then the crown passed to Elizabeth II after that. And then it went back to James of Scotland, and that's all I remember off the top of my head.
Closer to, yeah, that's better. That's perfect. Work it, work it, work it, which is not what we're going to say to their majesties. It's always fun. It's just always fun. We have a bit of a laugh, and I think we get nice pictures.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Thank you so much for asking us. Not at all, not at all. How are you, Your Majesty?
How are you? Nice to see you.
Now, I'm just going to quickly let you know what we're doing. We're doing one picture here of the pair of you.
Yes. Right.
Then I'm going to do a picture with just you very quickly.
Good, sir.
So I'm going to ask you, sir, to step aside. Then I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to take one very quick picture of you on your own. Now, toes, yours are together on that one.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
I just need you to come back a fraction this way towards me.
Camilla always looks so
Brilliant. So can you
nervous.
get your that foot on that one? And this is all so we don't have pillars coming out of people's heads or chandeliers coming out of ears. It's incredibly well organized.
Okay.
One question I want to ask you is,
Far away.
are we allowed to that hand?
Yes, yes.
Is it allowed to go there?
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
It's,
Brilliant.
yeah. Yeah.
It's so nice, the daylight, we've got spring daylight actually for real, but we've lit it as if it is just spring daylight. And so can you just turn very, oh yes, you did, just very fractionally that way.
Yes.
That's it. And then and straight to me like that with that. I love it. I love it. That is how quick we are.
Very good.
The great thing about these particular pictures is they are the first official formal photographs, but they're not so formal.
I like that. Camilla looks good in blue.
I am really pleased. I think they're really great people, and I want that character to come through. I just think they're both individually and together fantastic. And I hope that some of that comes through in the pictures. That's what I really want.
Charles III is not just King of the United Kingdom, he's also head of the Commonwealth. Only weeks after his accession, he's hosting one of its most important leaders, the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa.
Monarchy is a 365 days a year occupation, and it doesn't stop because you change monarchs for whatever reason.
President Ramaphosa, welcome. Evsheni, Dumela, Swabona, Molo, Molweni, Nda.
Wow.
Mr. President, my wife and I are delighted to welcome you to Buckingham Palace this evening.
It's a big operation. The amount of entertainment is much bigger than even they'd recognized. But I think my brother, he's learning things about the organization that he perhaps was only vaguely aware of before. And he's quite enjoying that too.
The coronation has been scheduled for the 6th of May.
Scheduled.
So major alterations are underway on the treasures, which will be the centerpiece of the ceremony. The crown jewels.
Have you guys ever seen the crown jewels? when I was in London, like going to the Tower of London and seeing the crown jewels was like I did it on like the first full day I was there. It was my most favorite thing that I did. It's so incredible. Like it's so ridiculous. Like it's like when you see the crown jewels, they make you get on a little treadmill and they have all the crowns displayed and you're just like you stand on the treadmill and you just go by and then you get to go by like it's surrounded by treadmills and then you go by on the other side as well. But it's like that's something if you ever had the chance to see the crown jewels, it's definitely worth it. And also you get to go to the Tower of London at the same time, and the Tower of London is just like a really cool thing to see. They are stunning. Stunning. What do I know about the crowns that they wear? Okay, so the one that they're doing right now, that's that's the crown, the big crown. What is it called? It's like St. James's crown, something like that. It's like that's only worn on Coronation Day. Like when the king is crowned, that's the only time they ever use that crown. And then the one that people most like often think of is the imperial crown, which is one with all like the diamonds and the jewels and the pearls hanging from the things. And that's brought out on like state occasions like the opening of Parliament and things like that. But then the queen has, of course, like all these tiaras. Those aren't part of the crown jewels, though. There's also the queen's crown, the queen consort crown, which Camilla wore. Queen Mary's crown. I think she wore Mary's crown. And like and this was the first time like in modern history at least that like the queen consort for coronation had worn a crown that wasn't made for her. So Queen Elizabeth's mother, who is also Queen Elizabeth, her crown was made for her, and then Queen Mary's crown was made for her, and Queen Alexander's crown was made for her. So this was a little bit different. That's the imperial state crown.
I'm Mark Appleby, and I'm crown jeweler, which means that I look after all the fantastic regalia.
Oh God! Can you imagine?
Jewelry and silverware.
That crown alone is like worth billions of dollars.
On this occasion, we have been asked to modify 3 crowns for the up-and-coming coronation on May the 6th.
Each mont's head is a different shape. So for every coronation, the crowns must be adjusted to fit the king and queen.
We need to remove as much of the pieces that detach before we start our modification. And at the moment, I'm in the midst of taking off the mond and the cross patty, which holds one of
those pearls belong
to
sapphires
Queen
Elizabeth I,
which date back to 1066.
Oh,
the St. Edward's sapphire. The legend has it that it was worn by Edward the Confessor, and as he was being turned into Westminster, when they opened the coffin, he was still wearing this sapphire as a ring. So incredibly, it's found its way into our imperial state crown.
One of the most spectacular.
Grace, if you think I'm a socialist, then you haven't properly researched me. Work on that a little bit more, Grace. I'm the opposite of a socialist. That's okay. We've just been introduced. I understand why you might think that, but I promise you I am not in any way, shape, or form a socialist, and people in the chat will confirm that. I am very much a capitalist.
The jewels in the imperial state crown is a diamond known as Cullinan II.
Cullinan number 2 comes from a large family of 9 major stones. It sits in the imperial state crown, where its big brother sits in the sovereign scepter. This diamond weighs just under 320 carats. It's D color.
Jesus
it's a flawless
Christ!
diamond.
Look at
It's
that
just one of
diamond.
the most historic diamonds in the world. It's just so priceless that I don't think that you could put a value on that stone today.
This is the St. Edward crown. It's the
St. Edward's crown.
Almost the oldest piece of coronation regalia.
No, the
It was
spoon
made
is the
in
oldest.
1660, modelled on a crown that was melted down, courtesy of Oliver Cromwell. But this is entirely gold, 18-karat yellow gold, and it's incredibly heavy.
That
it was
whole
reduced
thing is
in
gold.
size for George V. I'm going to put those pieces back now to get it back up to size. Well, in many ways, this is the most important piece of all. We have the imperial state crown that everybody's familiar with, Her Majesty.
Yeah, I need a. Well, I kind of like it when people think I'm a socialist. To be honest, it shows the difference between like, it's like a test. You have to pass the test to realize that I'm not a socialist.
Wore it for state openings and so forth. It's a very nice crown, but this is several centuries older. And the idea is that when this is placed upon someone's head, at that moment, that person becomes the monarch. So if you like, this is the object of coronation.
One of the most important duties of a monarch is that of commander-in-chief. Leading our armed forces and supporting allies and friends. Today, the King is visiting Ukrainian troops who have been trained in the UK before being sent to the front line.
So this is Andre.
Pleasure to meet you. This is Ukraine Commander, Lieutenant Colonel.
No. And are you here for some weeks?
Yeah, I just came in January and plan to be here as long as I can. So, but according to the plan, we plan to stay here till the July.
You are amazing. I don't know how you do it. Full of admiration.
Yeah. Most of them, they came from civilian lives and they have never been before the militaries and don't know how to manage but the weapons. And after the 35 days, they become a real soldiers who is ready to go to the front line.
Доброго дня, я Алекс, я з України, мені 32 роки. То я працював вчителем, мені подобалася моя професія, географія, біологія. Зараз стою в лавах Збройних сил України.
Are you halfway through the course?
Ви десь на половині свого курсу чи вже?
Так, половина.
Oh, yes, just at the halfway point.
They're working you quite hard.
Ну, і, надіюсь, вони вас вижимають так.
Good. There's so much to learn.
Дуже багато навчитися за цей період.
Да.
Oh, yeah.
Для мене це дуже хвилюючий момент. Я ні в своєму житті не сподівався, що буде зустріч з королем. Це дуже велика постать в нашому житті. І кожен би, напевно, хотів бути на моєму місці і мати таку унікальну можливість. Але я радий, що це випала саме ця честь мені.
And are these the weapons
І
you
ці, власне,
use
зброї, які ви будете використовувати в Україні?
Так, Калаш.
Oh, yes, the model and the Kalashnikov version.
And I hear you've been
І, власне, чую, що ви
having to dig
мусили багато
trenches.
копати
have
тут.
you?
на
Це
цій-
нормально, нам знадобиться
Oh,
Україна.
yeah, it's very useful.
The king spoke with them and of course it motivated them to fight better and better. Because if you're alone, it was difficult to fight. But we are not alone. Long live the king and thank for all your country.
It isn't only the king who's shouldering new responsibilities. The queen is also taking on a range of new roles,
Here we are again.
including an association with one of the most decorated cavalry regiments in the British Army.
Her Majesty the Queen has been appointed our Colonel-in-Chief, and this is really her first day in that role.
Hello, Richard.
Your Majesty. Well, it's lovely to see you, and on such a great day. I know, really exciting. Yeah, exactly. Hurrah.
This is an official role with a personal connection. The Queen's father was a lancer during the Second World War.
He was a troop leader in the 12th Lancers who took part in the Battle of El Alamein. He was chasing across the desert and decided to attack what he thought was some transport and logistics, fairly soft target. Turned out that it was actually Rommel's headquarters and was rather more heavily defended than he was expecting. Unfortunately, in the engagement, his vehicle was blown up, his gunner and driver were both killed, and he was seriously wounded. He got 2 military crosses, which is pretty unusual. So, yeah, very, very distinguished war record.
Thank you, Janet. Good to see you.
Well, I'm sure wherever he is today, you'd be absolutely thrilled that, I was now doing this role.
Well, we are equally thrilled now.
And today, there's an extra cause for celebration. Michael de Burgh, a former Lancer, is 100 years old.
What Her Majesty is most interested in today is that you enjoy today and, of course, the really exciting and important celebration.
To mark Michael's centenary, Queen Camilla has invited him to Clarence House.
Where's the hand? Oh.
There we are, Michael. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
How nice to see you again.
I'm so pleased.
There you are. It's pretty showy.
Well, birthday present was absolutely fantastic. I never expected anything of that sort, especially from lovely new queen. He's me up.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't. I'm coming down.
Oh, no.
I'm coming down, so you can't get up.
She's a lovely person, and we're very lucky to have her.
I've known her a long time, off and on. Her understanding of her role and how much difference it makes to the king has been absolutely outstanding. And this role is not something that she would have been a natural for, but she does it really well.
Oh, that's it.
Right way down. That's something you have to take it and have it right.
And she provides that.
See, like, this is the kind of stuff that I love about. It's like people. It's like he wanted to stand up for her, and it's like, man, like this is like old timey. Like this is like human goodness that I feel like we don't encounter today.
Change
of like reverence, and like all. It's
tone,
like cool.
which is equally important.
During the coronation, Queen Camilla will be crowned alongside the king. With the coronation countdown underway, more than 20 embroiderers are working round the clock to finish the robe the Queen will wear as she leaves Westminster Abbey.
So this specific robe that they're working on right here, so they wear 2 different robes during the coronation ceremonies. They wear the red ones on the way in, and they wear the purple ones on the way out. They will only wear the purple robes once, and that's for the coronation. For everything else after the coronation, for like the state opening of Parliament, every time they have to wear robes, they wear the red ones. So these robes that these people are like painstakingly embroidering by hand will only be worn once for one occasion. And it's just like what I love about this, and this is generally something I loved about like all the different things I got to see in museums in London. It was like just like the attention to detail on this stuff, just like everything down to just like the little things, like these little like frilly things on the flowers or like whatever. It's an attention to detail that we don't see on things today. And so it's just like, it's really cool to be able to go to, again, like I want to go back to London and spend more time in the museums than I was able to spend. I was like there for a week and I did not have enough time to see everything I wanted to see because like there was so much just like cool, like really, really old stuff. And when you look at it, you just notice all these little details, like the attention to like craftsmanship and like all that you don't see like with stuff made today. And that really has stuck with me in terms of like thinking about things artfully and paying attention to detail and all that.
Layers of gold thread and pearls are being sewn into 4 meters of velvet to a spectacular and very special design.
We were very keen to tell a story, something that was very personal to her. So there's elements from childhood, birthdays, family, marriage. We've got myrtle, which symbolizes love.
Yeah.
Chrysanthemums, joy.
And everything has
tenderness.
purpose.
We have our wild garden here along the bottom. And as the design travels up the robe, you'll notice we've got some beautiful spring flowers, because May, a time of awakening and hope and new beginnings. Lily of the Valley, which were in her wedding bouquet. One of my favourite flowers actually is the barley here, which is representative of her childhood and growing up in the countryside. Nestled beautifully and not lost is Her Majesty's cipher here. Yeah, I hope she loves it.
Hello, Horace. Nice to see you again.
Hello, nice to see you. And they're going to show you around and the work that we've done.
See what's been going on.
So who did the actual design?
Wow, the whole team
Oh, the
here.
whole team.
So it was a bit of a collaboration. So we did lots of research.
Ah.
So a very naturalistic gardening theme, you'll notice.
Yes.
Some delphiniums.
Oh,
Mm.
very good. Well done.
Yeah.
And the butterflies here in there too.
So we've got a caterpillar in here.
I'll
as well.
come back in.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another, what is that? No, dandelion.
That's the dandelion. You see, look, that's the
Yes.
dandelions, Liz.
Yes, exactly. Oh, good, yes. Oh, look. Splendid.
The clock is also ticking for another group of artists whose work will take centre stage. The Ascension Choir has been chosen by the King. They're the first gospel singers to perform at a coronation.
I was brought up with an appreciation for gospel music. It's one of the veins of music that really talks about the human condition. Today, we are going to have our last solo rehearsal. Make sure that we are absolutely ready for the day.
You know, like before the coronation, some people made fun of Charles because they were like, he's diversifying, it's woke. But it's like, I feel like what they did with the coronation was like the right kind of diversity, because it was like, it wasn't about like, it wasn't just about like, oh, we need to have brown people involved, right? It was about like, like this is amazing, like it's amazing. Like, this is beautiful, right? It all works together. It was nice. And it was like, this is, if you're going to do diversity stuff, this is how it should be done, you know?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I was in the middle of making dinner and Bim calls me up and I just made a noise, and it was the sort of noise my husband came running. He was just like, "You're right." I'm like, yeah. Yes. The answer is yes, and whatever you need, yes. It was very special. My mother-in-law loves me.
Sing praises unto our God. Sing praises, sing praises unto our King.
I mean, people ask you, have you met the King? Have you met? I mean, you meet the King, but, you know, we're not talking about the football results and, you know, he's not coming around my house for a cup of tea. You know, you meet him, it's for a limited amount of time. He's very nice. You're very nice. It's very pleasant. He's very funny. and very knowledgeable about music.
King of all the earth, for God.
I think it's important at such an amazing moment in the country's history to represent the beauty and the diversity that really exists, in the United Kingdom.
The king has a range of new responsibilities. But he also has historic commitments. One of these is to the organisation which, for the last 5 decades, has borne his name. The Prince's Trust. Set up to support underprivileged youngsters, it has now helped over 1.2 million people. Today, the King is meeting Prince's Trust Award winners and patrons.
Yes, because I personally have been.
Is it really you? Yes. How are you? Good to see you again. We missed you yesterday.
And I'm so
Majesty.
sorry about
It wasn't half as good a show without you.
Problem.
So how many years have you done?
That was our 11th yesterday.
Yeah, you are astonishing.
We love it. We love it.
Amazing record of loyalty and devotion.
Well,
The King has also invited Prince's Trust beneficiaries from the past.
You look the part, mate. You look like you just fell out of Debenhams window. Oh, thank you very much. If it was still in business.
People who were helped by the charity nearly 40 years ago.
I left school in '78. Didn't do overly well in school. Wasn't motivated to do well. It was a very difficult place to get employment in Liverpool at the time.
Most of the big employers had kind of left. So we were starting to see our fathers losing their jobs as well. There was no sense that you were going to get a job, so why bother looking?
They were very dark times, I suppose. The only news that was coming out of Liverpool in the 1980s was bad news. Bad news.
Your Majesty. Mr. Graham Ray.
Ah,
Yes, exactly.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
because did I not meet you in those years?
1980.
No, do you remember? Was it not it? Karate? Was it started?
Rags and Wipers.
Rags and Wipers, that's right. Wipers, sir, yeah.
Wipers.
38 years.
38 years.
38 years.
He gave us £3,000 in 1986, and it lasted 38 years. So we created quite a substantial business up there. All down to you.
There was a friend of mine who says, why don't you go and speak to the Prince's Trust? We didn't realise that it was the Prince of Wales who was behind it.
They start asking me questions. What are you going to do? Impress me. Sell yourself to me.
Something being there at that moment ignited something.
And they said, they'll give you £1,000. Now, you either take it and run and go and get drunk with it, or you take it and go,
I think I'll do something.
This is Willy Wonka's ticket.
So we just kept on going, head down, kept on going.
Since it began, Ray Brothers has employed more than 250 people.
Oh, hard, sir. Very well.
We've stayed in Toxteth. We've employed people from Toxteth.
We built a business that lasts for 40 years. He made it possible.
I'm so glad about that.
Thanks. It's lovely to see you.
I mean, like, people think that, like, the royals don't actually do anything and they just go to these things and, like, cut cakes and, like, things like that. But they really do, like, a lot. They raise a lot of money for organizations. Like Charles has helped out a lot of people with the Prince's Trust. You look at, like, the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, which was started by Philip before he died, and now Edward is doing it. It's like, these are, like, real things. And it means something to these people. Like, the royals show up and you're able to, like, raise money and get your story out, and they do like these Instagram things for, like, the different charities they support, and, like, they're always like running around and, like, doing something. Like Anne, who's the Princess Royal, which is, like, an official title that goes to the monarch's, like, eldest daughter. Anne has done over 450 engagements this year. That's crazy. That's an insane amount of work. And it's funny, I saw a news article yesterday that was they were calling William and Kate lazy because they had only done like 170 engagements, because they're more family focused and they're raising 3 kids and, like, all that stuff. And it's like, these people do, like, an incredible amount of work. They're always in the public eye. They always have to be perfect. Any like foot out of line or, like, hair out of place, and the entire world knows about it, and it shows up in tabloids. And it's like, I don't know, it's just like, it's well, exactly, like, they have to raise their kids, and I think that, I'm not mad at them for only doing 170 engagements. It's an incredible, I would never want to be a royal. Never, ever, ever. It's like living in a glass house. Like, yeah, you have everything you're ever going to need. You have a staff, you have all this stuff, but it's like everything you do in your life is going to be documented and scrutinized in a way worse way than, like, anyone I think can prepare for. Yeah, Anne is, like, hardcore. Anne takes no grief from anyone.
The transformation now, what you're seeing now, to what it was when you gave us that 20 years ago, unbelievable. It's a great music.
All that Albert Dock area.
Yeah.
So,
It's brilliant. You played your part. Well done.
what in
Everything.
That's right.
I don't want to blow smoke at the guy, but to tell you the truth, if I ever envied anything, it's not the palaces and the wealth and the stuff like that. On my crib sheet, when I meet my mate and said, hang on a minute, I have 1 million kids here to actually come out from an underprivileged area. I changed a huge amount of people's lives.
Yes.
That's my claim to fame.
Yeah.
The winners, if you let your hard work and your glee just rise up, coming out of your cheek muscles and coming towards the cameras over here, and we are done. Thank you very much.
With the coronation fast approaching, preparations are intensifying. Many of the items at the heart of the ceremony are handmade, including 2 pieces vital to the crowning of the King and Queen.
My name is Philip Tracy, and I'm a hat designer. I got a phone call from the King's office to ask if I would do this, and it took me a few weeks to actually take in what was involved. I've had a great experience designing hats for incredible events and incredible moments. When you work with the royal family, you're working with history.
I didn't
It's a
realize Philip
different
Tracy did this. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize they had all new, like,
Capital
caps made to go into
maintenance
the
is a term
crowd.
that's been around since, I believe, the Middle Ages, and it is a term that was used for the cap which sits inside the crown. The cap of maintenance is actually what fits the head. It basically stops the crown from becoming a necklace. So it actually is what's holding the crown on the head. We started by making a cross-section of their Majesty's heads, and then we had exactly the template made in wood of the point of contact of the crown. This was the original lining from St. Edward's crown, so then we replicated because it's an ingenious way of keeping something very heavy on. It's a beautiful purple velvet, and then this is a white Duchess satin. As we build up the layers of material, that starts to add up dramatically, and suddenly something very two-dimensional becomes three-dimensional. It was fascinating to work on something like this because all fairy tales come from these crowns.
See, this was the pomp I
Crowns
wanted
and
from the
robes
coronation.
are eye-catching symbols.
This is what I wanted.
But coronation is first and foremost a religious ceremony. And the mysterious ritual which lies at its heart is anointment, when the monarch is touched with holy oil.
It starts in Jewish history with the anointing of kings.
Oh no.
So it's at least 3,000 years old. And that was always done as a symbol and sacrament of the Holy Spirit.
Well, her father's name was Albert, but he went by like his regnant name was George, but his real name was Albert or Bertie. But like when they become regnant, they get to choose a new name if they want to. And the reason he chose George instead of just like going by like King Albert was because they wanted continuity with his father, because it was like this whole thing where like Edward had abdicated, and so it was like Elizabeth was never supposed to be queen. Because Elizabeth was born to the Duke of York, but then Edward decided he wanted to marry his divorced American mistress, Wallis Simpson, and so he abdicated the throne, and so then Elizabeth became in line for the crown when she was never supposed to have it. Yeah, exactly. It was the brother that abdicated.
Filling the person being anointed.
For the coronation of Charles III, anointing oil is being sourced from the birthplace of Christianity.
Some of these trees on the Mount of Olives, they go back to the time of Jesus. You know, we're talking about
That's
over
pretty
2,000
incredible.
years old olive trees. And these trees have witnessed a lot. They may have held the hands of Jesus during his passion. These olives were picked prayerfully, knowing that, you know, the king will be anointed with this oil.
After being picked and pressed, the oil is taken to the place where Jesus' body is said to have lain after crucifixion.
That oil resembles God's wisdom given to the king in order to carry out his responsibilities as leader of the community, to lead God's people in all righteousness and all truth. By the power of thy Spirit, bless and sanctify this oil. Trying to be the king or the leader of everybody is not an easy task. We will always pray for him. So this oil may be to King Charles a sign of joy and gladness. And I would think that this is his greatest gift, that he will be the king of all the British people, now and forever. Amen.
The route to the coronation was endless rehearsal. In the last couple of weeks, we went to Buckingham Palace, and the ballroom was set up to scale.
Oh wow.
That
Wow.
is, with all the names of the countries of the. Oh, I won't distract you. I haven't seen it before. I just admiring.
It's quite
it.
something.
It is.
Here we go then. Lift. I'm Sergeant Major David Roper from the Grenadier Guards.
I don't like how they did the anointing. I
Was
don't like
appointed
that
in
screen.
Coronation where His Majesty the King will be anointed with oil. My part is to command the 6 non-Christian officers from the Household Division who've been selected to bear what we call the anointing screen, which is a large screen that forms 3 sides of a square around the anointing so that the private part of the ceremony can be conducted. Right, we'll do screen 1, then we'll do 2 and 3 as a oneer, okay? Raise. Quick, march. We've spent a lot of time rehearsing to make sure the choreography will be just so on the day. So, try and keep it vertical. We've rehearsed on a nearly daily basis for about 10 days.
Listen. No besmirching the king right now. We're enjoying our royal time. I think Charles is doing a good job. Like, he's doing a way better job than I expected him to do. The country loves him. Leave him alone, okay? No besmirching royalty or off with your head.
Now, and of course, that will heat up more in the final week before the coronation. Here we go then. Quiet in the cheap seats. We get to form a small but integral part of the process of crowning the sovereign. Concentrate on keeping it upright. Good, nice and steady now. And yes, showing our devotion as members of the Household Division. Stand by, stand still.
The part of Westminster Abbey where the coronation will take place is known as the theatre. A replica of the theatre has been built inside Buckingham Palace.
Do I think Alice's Queen of Hearts was an Aries? I mean, maybe. That would make sense, wouldn't it? I bet that makes sense. I think so, Sin. We'll ask Joshua about that.
Here, each stage of the ceremony is meticulously rehearsed.
So we have to imagine then that the King's procession has gone in. So
we're in place.
Yes, Mr. Dean, if you'd be up at the and Archbishop of York. I'm Mark Birch. I'm the precentor of Westminster Abbey. I'm hoping at this point you will bring the fold stool out for the King. A precentor is the person who looks after the services in the Abbey. As Her Majesty comes through, Bishop's assistant moving either side of her. So that's Norwich and Hereford. And I'm trying to remember which side you're on. It's my job and other people around Their Majesties to make sure that they're really comfortable with all the movements and all the different elements of what is quite a complicated service. So going that way, so across the page, Norwich, perfect on the right. I've got a huge procession of I think it's about 70 people, all going to different places in the Abbey, holding different things. So we've got to rehearse them very, very carefully and make sure that all the timings work as well.
To familiarise themselves with their roles, the King and Queen are attending.
Do I
the
see
rehearsal.
Johnny? Do I see Lieutenant Colonel Johnny? Lieutenant Colonel Johnny's my favorite.
So there will be a little bit of time while the Gloria finishes.
Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Thompson was the Queen's bodyguard, and now he's the King's equerry, and he is very handsome, and he is Scottish, and he's involved in everything. And if you follow royal stuff, you will always see Lieutenant Colonel Johnny. He's always around, and I think I just saw him.
But at the end of the Gloria, the Archbishop will say, "Let us pray," and then we all stand. I guess we're about halfway through our rehearsal schedule, so then you're given the words to say. Everybody's tremendously focused on getting it right, and there's just a great sense of all working together to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Camilla looked terrified during the coronation.
This is a kneeling moment, I'm afraid.
Oh, they even had the chair there.
Would kneel, then everyone else around you will stand.
I'll point him out when there's a good opportunity.
They are maybe quite a long way away.
They're quite a long way. You don't want to have to step.
There are still bits that confuse me. I mean, the bits with the swords, I still have to think through very, very carefully. So that was said when you were holding it up to the altar.
Oh yes, receive these kingly swords. Yes, absolutely.
So then I give the sword to you.
Thank you, perfect. Sure.
No, they're so good.
You say a prayer.
Look at your right hand.
I'm Penny Morton.
Upright.
This
Penny
moment.
And hold it upright. It's all cloaked in the mists of medieval chivalry, and so it's not surprising that it doesn't make a lot of sense necessarily. So then a prayer of thanksgiving is made for the oil that's been brought from Jerusalem, and then the screens come around.
Listen, I'm being serious. No besmirching the king. We are royalists here. We do not besmirch the king, okay? We can argue and complain. We're doing royal content right now. We don't need to argue. We don't need to complain. We don't need to talk about the WEF. We're doing royal content right now, and we are respectful of the monarchy, okay? This is a 1,000-year-old tradition. We need tradition in this world. You will not take this away from me.
What I get from these rehearsals is just clearly what a great, hugely meaningful moment this is for both of them. With the king, you get a real sense that this means everything to him. Then the dean approaches, carrying the crown with the archbishop.
I say a prayer with the crown up there, and then slowly lower it, tipping forward.
Yes, we have to jam it on, so it has to come down to here first.
Just above your eyebrows.
Here first, and then push down.
The king has been in high-profile public life for a long, long time, but this is the moment when as it were, he takes on literally the whole weight of his office. You know, the weight of that crown. It's not just symbolic; it's actual. It's about the weight of kingship.
Yeah.
I don't want to break your
Yeah,
neck.
exactly, Sin. Exactly. Can you imagine? Can you what must it be like to be in his shoes? This is a job that Charles has waited for 70 years. 70 years. He has just been, his entire life has been waiting for his mother to die so that he can assume the job that he was born to fulfill. And this is the moment when the coronation is one of the most watched thing that how many billions of people watch the coronation, and you've got this big ass crown that's heavy. What would have happened if you put that crown on wrong? It's all over. Can you imagine this is why Camilla looked like she was going to throw up during the coronation. It's like you can understand why they look like that, because this is the 70 effing years.
Well,
I ruined the service.
I promise it'll be. It's so huge.
Yes.
It's got to be on right, and I can't do anything about it.
Quite.
It's a role like
And
no
he's
other
telling
that
them
he's
so
taking on.
graciously.
And I think all the
He's Charles is like, you've got to get this right, because it's like the crowd is really heavy and I can't move it once you put it on. And he's doing it in the most lovely and gracious way. Yes, I have watched The Crown. I haven't finished the latest season yet. I like the earlier seasons better, but you always have to keep in mind, The Crown is not necessarily historically accurate. It's a great show. It's a beautiful show. They did a wonderful job, but it's not necessarily historically accurate. So just keep that in mind. But I haven't finished the rest of the last season yet. I have a couple more episodes. Maybe I'll go watch that after this. I don't know.
Ceremony and the glory of the coronation all reflects the sense of just the sheer significance of his role.
I'm Graham Usher, I'm the Bishop of Norwich, and my role at the coronation is to be one of Her Majesty the Queen's bishop assistants.
It was actually relatively short. The Queen's coronation was much longer than it. It was what was it? Maybe an hour or two, hour and a half, something like that. It was, I strongly encourage, if you guys have never watched the coronations, watch the coronations, especially watch Queen Elizabeth's coronation. I have watched it at least 4 times. It's beautiful. It really is. It's Charles's, again, like I said this at the beginning, but Charles's coronation didn't have like as much pomp and pageantry and grandeur as like Queen Elizabeth's coronation is just like, it's amazing. I strongly encourage people to, it's an important ceremony, man. It really is. It's a ceremony that has been done for like this same ceremony has been done for 1,000 years. And the core ceremony has stayed the same for 1,000 years. That's incredible.
Your Majesty, we finally got to the. We're about to crown you.
Oh, you're about
Would you kneel for the anointing?
Yes, right. Okay.
I think she's entering into it with great humility.
Camilla never wanted to be queen.
I promise.
Just a dab.
A dab.
A dab. It is the merest dab.
A day in her life that is going to be quite incredible.
So
I just dip my fingers in the end and go. I turn to the king.
Indeed.
Your Majesty.
You've got to say yes or no.
If you don't say anything, if you don't nod, or
Does anyone know what Camilla's title will likely change to when Charles dies? Well, assuming Camilla doesn't die first, okay? Does anyone know what Camilla's title will change to after, if she's still alive after Charles dies and William becomes king? Because of course, Kate is going to become queen consort when William becomes king. So do you guys know what Camilla's title will likely change to? Does anyone know? Pop quiz. Well, no, she wouldn't be the queen mother because she's not the mother of a king, right? So she wouldn't be the queen mother. Not like Elizabeth's mother was. Elizabeth's mother was styled as the queen mother. No, she wouldn't be called the brood mother. No, not queen mother. She's probably going to be called the queen dowager, which is she's still going to be the queen. Queen dowager. Exactly, Lady Feline. Queen dowager.
indicates her.
Now it's different with William and Kate, right? Because if William dies before Kate and George assumes the throne, then Kate would likely be the queen mother because she'd be the mother of the king. Oh yeah, I think they're definitely in love. I mean, come on. He has gone through hell for her. Like, it's actually kind of beautiful that it worked out that they did actually get to be together. Because he's always loved her. She was always the person for him. They were kept apart because the queen mother and Philip hated her and she wasn't a virgin. And so it was sad. It was sad that Charles didn't just marry her from the get. Like, it was sad that the royal family kept them apart, but they still came back together. No, Kate would never be the queen regnant. Kate would never be the queen regnant because she might be so George would still be the king, but if William dies young and George has to assume the throne young, what is the name of it? Oh shit. I forget the name of it. But Kate wouldn't be the queen regnant. She'd still be the queen mother. Regent. She might be like the regent for George, but she wouldn't be the queen regnant. The only people who are going to be there's not going to be another queen for a long ass time. We don't know Kate is going to be the queen consort, then the queen mother, and there's not going to be another queen regnant for a long ass time. Was the queen mother queen before Elizabeth? Yes, she was. Yeah, she was queen for a long time. She was the queen consort. And then once Elizabeth became queen, she became the queen mother, and her mother actually, so not her mother, the mother of Elizabeth's father was just she was the queen dowager or just the queen. So Queen Mary was the queen dowager. Then you had Queen Elizabeth, who was the queen mother. And then you had Queen Elizabeth, who is the queen regnant.
I can't crown Her Majesty.
Don't bother to look. I'm very happy.
Yeah, so I mean, females have always been in the line of succession. They're in the line of succession, but what they did is they changed the rules. Right before William and Kate had George, they changed the rules for to basically say what it is with Anne is Anne is at the bottom of the line of succession of the 4 kids that Queen Elizabeth had. So in order, like Charles was obviously the heir, but then it was Andrew, and then it was Edward, and then it was Anne at the bottom, because women were prioritized behind men. But before William had kids, they changed the rules. So now the line of succession after succession, there we go. The line of succession after William is George, Charlotte, and Louis, because now Charlotte has as much right to, the throne as her brothers, I guess.
She has been immensely calm during the rehearsals. Also quite clear as to what she would like or how she thinks that something should be. Her sister will be standing right beside her.
Yes.
Her grandsons and a great nephew behind her as her pages. And I think she will be carried by that love and support of her family and the wider royal family and everyone gathered in Westminster Abbey.
With the coronation just days away, the King and Queen are inspecting their modified crowns.
We have Martin Swift, Crown Jeweller before myself.
It's taken months of painstaking work to alter the regalia.
What we'd like to do is show you a little of what went on behind the scenes.
It was right before George was born.
Be a great deal easier to wear like that.
What a task to have to start the chopping.
Yeah.
From what we can see, there are 8.
Wow.
split
Oh my
pieces that have been
God.
made
This is going to be
to make it smaller.
nerve-wracking.
So I
Oh
think
my
what we're
God.
actually
They
doing
cut the
is bringing
crown.
it back up to the size it used to be.
But this has happened for generations.
It last happened, we think, in 1911. There was some alteration done to it. And when we opened it up, we saw.
It was very much a hands-on type of crown.
Wow.
Given that it was made in 1660 by some poor souls sitting in a very cold workshop.
No, they're all still in the line of succession. I mean, Harry's still in the line of succession, but they're never going to be king. They're never going to be. And in fact, Harry's children have prince and princesses titles now, because after Charles became king, Harry's kids became eligible to be called prince and princess. So they actually have royal titles now, which of course they insisted on giving the kids because of Meghan Markle, because she's a raging narcissist.
Possibly with daylight, more likely by candlelight.
Without specs.
Yeah,
Yes.
without specs in those days. How it's incredible engineering for the time.
And
really.
with plague and goodness knows what, and fires going on.
This may not be instantly recognizable.
Yes, that's imperial crowns.
It is.
My grandma was had a very swelled head.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have to be redone.
Redone for that, yeah. Or just or it higher, maybe higher up.
Yes.
As far as we can tell, it wasn't made smaller. So I assume that your grandfather had quite a head as
He
well.
did, I think. Because the really interesting thing is that little
And that goes
Ruby on the top.
I
Yes.
still have a feeling a plume went in it or something.
Correct.
That is the legend that Henry V had his plume on his helmet at the Battle of Agincourt.
It's so wonderful that.
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of history, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I hated this anointing
Prepare for
screen.
Coronation Day. Rehearsals have moved to Westminster Abbey.
So request, could it not touch the gilding?
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of business with robes on this side.
Fine, so I'll just stick to the original.
Please.
Happy. Yeah, no.
So we're now at 3 days, I think, till the coronation. There have been so many different rehearsals. We started very small, just a small group rehearsing with the King and Queen, and that's now expanded to a kind of cast of thousands.
So this is the bit we've been constructing for the last week or so to enable the procession to come in without any steps onto the theatre. A rather beautiful carpet, and as you can see, they've done the mouldings from the from the choir stalls. So my name's Paul Baumann. I'm the Receiver General here, which is the equivalent of a Chief Executive of the
I'm
Abbey.
almost done my
So
first
you'll come
beer.
up here, and today we're welcoming the Princess Royal.
It's changed from yesterday, Mum. They
Seating plan will probably change before Saturday, so don't let's worry about it, okay?
She's coming to check the route of her procession in, and then more importantly, the route of her procession
Anne
out.
had the best outfit.
Stage. Am I
Anne looked like
joining
a
in the procession?
badass on the
Okay.
for the
I think
coronation.
for everybody who took part, it had to come together. And it was no good somebody going, oh, I'm just turn up on the day and read the bits of paper. It's not going to work. Right, and the Samaria door is the one down.
I'll show you. It's the one we came in fact, but I'll show you also the room where you can leave your cloak
Yeah.
behind.
Really want to see the route out. And I don't think it's ever worth taking somebody's word for it. The other thing is that you have to leave it late enough so that after the television cameras have appeared and put their wires down, that you can still get out the door you thought you were going to get out. You may know where you think you're going, but you know, by the time the television are finished, maybe not so easy.
I just remember walking into the Abbey, and in every corner there were people practicing various things. It was very well organized chaos.
The other arm.
Right, so we've got Louis here.
I keep calling it a wedding. It was extraordinary because it did feel like a wedding. And people kept referring to Annabelle and I as the bridesmaids, which we really didn't like very much. But it did certainly feel like a wedding because it was a family occasion. It was in a church. It was very serious, and yet it had a fun side to it.
That's on. So how does it feel?
This is up on the thing.
You want us to move you forward?
Everybody's got, somebody's got help.
Yes, no, we are.
Down the other side.
They got it. Can you walk forward?
She has got a great twinkle, and it comes out very readily, and it puts people at their ease very quickly.
We have the whole house outside us last night. All night long.
The bands and
I don't like how they did this with the robe for Camilla with this little like backpack thing. And I know this is beautifully embroidered, but like, give me some fucking tassels, give me some like grandeur, give me some like, I don't know. It just like, I feel like I'm always looking at Camilla wearing a damn backpack when I see her wearing these robes.
5 o'clock till 5. I feel like sort of something's been put in a carriage.
like a horse.
Yes.
So, as on the day, I think you'll be coming in straight to Churchill.
Sorry.
And then you're going the north side.
So she knows when to be serious, and she knows when to wink at a bishop, but when not to, which I think is a rather endearing quality.
Oh yes, bishops. Sorry, should have called you.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Good morning, boys. Good morning.
The first train the Queen comes in the wonderful Victoria.
There was a rumor before the coronation that like Camilla and Charles were like tripping over their robes and stuff like that. And so there was like, are they going to make it without falling down during the coronation? I agree. I agree, Ellie, completely. I want grandeur. I want robes. I want crowns. I want coronets. I don't care how much it costs. I want it all back. There was not enough grandeur at Charles's coronation. There was some grandeur, but I want the fucking 8,000 seat Westminster Abbey. I want the beautiful scene where like when William is crowned with St. Edward's crown, you see all the peerage in the background. I want them all putting on their coronets. I want everyone doing an homage where they go up and they kiss William in the crown and all. Like I want it all back. I want everything from Queen Elizabeth II's coronation back.
Victorian red silk velvet and ermine train. It's quite heavy apart from anything.
We've got a robe at last.
Good. Does it feel comfortable, Mel?
Yeah. Keep up a little bit. Boys, putting it off there.
Okay.
So for those small boys, it was teaching them how to hold it properly, keeping it straight so that it didn't bunch up as she was walking along. And it didn't pull her backwards, because if they didn't keep to the right pace with her, she would be pulled backwards because it was on a sort of strapped sort of thing on her shoulders. So that took a bit of getting used to.
You look as if you're about to jump out of a plane with a parachute.
Yes, yes, well, we had a really good night because they had the whole rehearsal star with me.
Oh, so you've slept so well.
I slept so well.
Well, at least it's not the night before.
Ahead of final
That
rehearsals,
spoon is the oldest piece of
crown jewels
regalia.
have started to arrive at the Abbey.
Mark, can I just feel the weight of that thing? Thank you. That's easy. That's all I needed to do.
Do you lift this one as well?
There was a big debate about whether we should all be wearing gloves, and then it was decided that probably we were more at danger of dropping things if we were wearing gloves than without them. So, no gloves.
You can do it 2 hands, yeah.
They're beautifully weighted.
Yes. Yeah.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
The Prince of
The
Wales
whales.
has a key role in the coronation.
Yes. Wow, look at that food.
This is a chance for the prince to support the king as he prepares for his big day.
George was also in the
What
ceremony.
struck me particularly is how extraordinarily affectionate they are. They're clearly a very close family, you know.
Hang on. You're in New Zealand, Michael. Are you a monarchist? How do you feel about the royal family? We're monarchists on this channel, Michael. We are. We're royalists. We like it. That's why I'm wearing a crown.
Of all the generations, and in a sense you felt you're part of a family occasion as well as you know, a royal occasion and a national occasion.
Archbishop, good morning.
Good morning, Your Highness.
Very nice to see you.
It's very nice to see you. Oh, Your Royal Highness, how lovely
Well,
to see you.
yeah, duh. We're not talking about
Your
her.
honour now, sir, I think.
And I've got to
It
go and
looks
do my-
amazing, doesn't it?
Sorry.
It's out of this world. And Garter is going to lead you up there, sir.
So will you just walk? You just walk towards me, will you?
Yeah.
Walk towards you, nod, and you'll come up, and I will.
And just follow him. And if you ever get lost, sir, in this, you just look confident and bow.
One of the Prince of Wales' duties is to present the king with the stole royal. This garment, made of golden silk, symbolizes the sacred nature of kingship.
So, Your Royal Highness, if you put the stole over the king's head,
and we will.
And then the bishops will make sure.
We'll make sure it gets hooked on.
Properly. We bring in the robe. So the robe goes on, and then Your Royal Highness, you come and fix the clasp.
She goes into
Done it.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that again. It's quite a small catch. On the day, it's not going to go in. So that works.
You haven't got sausage fingers like mine.
No, well, I hope I get it in the right place.
You're conscious of the deep history of coronation, right? We have been doing it like this for 1,000 years. You're also aware that you are seeing a little glimpse of the future. Here is a future king. What is it like for him to watch this happen? He has to be aware that there will come a day when he too will be thinking about facing this challenge.
Receive the royal scepter, the ensign of kingly power and justice.
I think we'd always known that His Majesty, all those years of Prince of Wales, how he was a man who felt things very deeply and very passionately, and always spoke very passionately. Sometimes unsettling people because he did speak with such passion.
May the Spirit of the Lord who anointed Jesus at his baptism so anoint you this day, that you might exercise authority with wisdom and direct your counsels with grace, that by your service and ministry to all your people, justice and mercy may be seen in all the earth.
And seeing that close up, you realize that, yeah, this is a man who believes very deeply and passionately and really cares, really cares about things, and cares about people. So the fanfare begins. He wants to give of himself for the good of others.
I have a memory that is probably about as good as our spaniels. In other words,
Listen, some of the armor that they have is crazy. There's a whole bunch of it at the Tower of London. And you get to see King Henry VIII armor when he got really. King Henry VIII was not a small man.
0. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be amongst you and remain with you now and... No, that can't be right.
Always.
You
must have said this before.
I knew that.
Yes. Be with you and remain with you always.
Amen.
Amen. He gave me a nice smile, nodded his head. But that was a glitch.
So the homage.
The homage is the moment when those present pledge their allegiance to the king.
I love that they're wearing those things around their shoes.
And kneel.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you, and faith and truth I will bear unto you, as your liege man of life and limb, so help me God.
I think the moment of the Prince of Wales kissing his father, the homage, it's a moment that a lot of people saw and kissed the king.
Do I stand up on here?
That really wonderful connection.
Yes. Wasn't it that side?
Your left side?
It is normally the left
Normally
side.
left side. Your left cheek is better.
Priceless. Do you want to hold them, take them back? I think at this point you might just leave them with the bishops. And then the bishops can place them on the shrine altar.
Right.
So there will be a little pause there.
This thing gets crazy. Are you staying in a hotel?
Yes, we're staying in the Novotel straight opposite Lambeth Palace.
Same crown bot,
Wife's
same crown.
here as well.
Good.
That's no. She's going to watch it on television.
I'd be so nervous I would drop the orb.
No.
Today's rehearsals are over.
You're not coming to the dress rehearsal?
I'm on Friday, actually. George and I are back here on Friday.
I'm here tomorrow.
You're here tomorrow?
Yes, here.
The king and queen have only 2 more days to practice before the big day.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. See some of you again later. Or your stand-ins.
Much later, really.
Not much later.
With the ceremony now only hours away, the anointing oil has arrived from Jerusalem.
Well, this is a moment.
Isn't it just? Yes, what an extraordinary few days.
Can you imagine what they would have done?
Together has been absolutely marvelous.
Can you imagine what they would have done if the holy anointing royal hadn't arrived from Jerusalem in time? Like someone goes to Whole Foods and gets the most expensive bottle of olive oil and they put it in the thing and no one knows the difference. That's like a comedy waiting to be written right there, like everything that's gone wrong behind the scenes of the coronation. And like they think they've gotten this uber special anointing oil from Jerusalem that was like had the olives from the Mount of Olives and had been blessed by all these people, and all of a sudden they have to go to the grocery store to get like fucking olive oil. That would have been funny.
I am stunned by the work everyone here has done, and I've never seen it looking better.
I have the oil. So
Oh,
let me go
thank
and
you.
get it. There we are.
Goodness.
I know. Isn't
me.
it extraordinary? Yes.
Gosh, you could make a fortune selling that.
The king will be crowned monarch of the United Kingdom and 14 other independent nations, which are known as the Commonwealth Realms. To celebrate this bond, the king has invited the realms leaders to a pre-coronation lunch.
It's lovely, familiar faces.
Thank you for coming all the way.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and we've just had the death of Her late Majesty, and she did 70 years of exceptional service to the Commonwealth. And now she's being succeeded, and I think that he'll make a success of it.
It is very important that they're there and that they want to be there, they want to be part of it, is extremely important for the future of the Commonwealth.
Making me feel brilliant.
He's a very charming person, a very warm and a very friendly person. I admire the way he communicates, he interacts with you. That, to me, speaks to the measure of our king.
With well-wishers filling the streets of London, His Majesty has one more important duty to fulfill.
Yo, like I said this earlier, Anne had the best outfit at the coronation. And the best part of Anne's outfit, and you guys will see this in a second if you didn't see the coronation, is Anne was wearing this giant ass red feather. And this was her idea. When Anne was seated at the coronation, she was seated directly in front of Harry, and she was wearing this giant red feather, and her red feather completely blocked Harry's face from being shown on the cameras at all. Anne is awesome. She is a badass, and that was all her idea, and her family, they talked about it later. The family like laughed about it, like she's gonna block out Harry from being even shown on camera.
Nice to meet you.
Where did you come from?
The United States. Yes, sir. Yes, we did.
Special.
Special. Very nice to see you. Oh, is that Lee? Hello, Lee. Come and say hi to you, Lee, when you're back over here, but I hope you get better soon.
Yeah, bless you.
Have a lovely day tomorrow, sir.
So much. You're very kind.
I'm from Germany.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Good luck for tomorrow.
You guys are coming on.
We are staying.
Are you kidding with this, guys?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So nice.
Congratulations. Congratulations. All the way from Australia. Wonderful.
We were sort of picked up by coach outside my flat with outriders and everything at 6:30 in the morning. That seemed totally surreal, to sort of go through central London in a bus with all these various people. Some people dressed already for the service, some of us ready to be dressed. And then we arrived at Buckingham Palace, and it was like being in a play, because literally walked in, makeup, hair, costume.
Johnny, Lieutenant Colonel Johnny, he's our favorite. He's the best.
But it wasn't until we were all ready that we actually all came together to see each other for the first time. She hadn't seen our dresses, she didn't know what we were going to look like, and we hadn't seen her dress. And that was a very special moment. That was when it was quite like a wedding.
Camilla is wearing the coronation necklace. So you see right there, that necklace has been worn by every queen since like Queen Victoria. And so that's like the special like necklace.
Hadn't seen her dress. And that was a very special moment. that was when it was quite like a wedding. It was like, it was the bridesmaids going to see the bride.
And just be careful of
Yeah, you won't tread on my dress with that sword. It's going to be a proper
short steps.
Yeah. There we are, with all the lads. Yeah.
Johnny. That's Lieutenant Colonel Johnny, our Scottish god.
Should we go and get ourselves organised, Sandra?
Come on, always to get pulled over. Body.
There was just a really exciting moment of just getting them into that carriage the first time, and then we knew we were off.
And I thought back of, being 2 years old and watching the Queen's coronation on a tiny black and white television. And there goes this golden coach with my sister in it.
So the Dalmatian looking fur is ermine, and they weren't even sure so ermine is it's controversial, and that's why they got rid of all the robes and stuff for the peerage for the dukes and the marquises and all this stuff, but that's ermine, so I'm glad they still kept that tradition.
I can't explain the feeling because it's so surreal and this cannot be happening. Yeah, it was quite a moment.
We were ready, and we were ready to go out and face literally the world. Yeah.
This is where everyone's supposed to get chills because of how grand it is.
Going into the Abbey, I think I had that nervousness all the time. She's quite a bit smaller than I am. I'm feeling, oh my God, is she going to be all right?
We often remark upon how grateful we are that our schools did a lot of drama, and both of us spent time on stage. It's really good training. Apart from the fact it gives you a bit of confidence, but it teaches you about learning lines and making sure you do the rehearsals and understand what's involved. So you get it absolutely right.
The king took a profound interest in the coronation. There were a number of significant alterations.
Lord Kamal, representing British Muslims.
This time, other faiths were present in a way that was inconceivable in earlier coronations.
And next, Lord Patel, representing the Hindu community.
There was a diversity, there was an energy about the way we were offering back to the nation and the Commonwealth what kind of a community we are.
Presentation of regalia complete. The moment of crowning has arrived.
Yes, it's about the man born to be king being crowned, but actually how much it says about every life and every human destiny. For me, it was about the sort of the human destiny under God, sort of writ large, and with the most gorgeous jewels.
God save the king.
I, William, Prince of Wales, pledge my loyalty to you as your liege man of life and limb. So help me God.
The principle of sort of touching the crown. I mean, the idea of that is, it is partly about a sort of pledge that I will help you wear the crown. And I think His Majesty sort of mouthed, "Thank you, William."
She was obviously incredibly nervous.
Camilla looked like she was going to throw up the entire time.
I know her well enough. No, I'm not at all nervous, but of course she was. I mean, this is the most extraordinary moment in your life, which the whole world is going to see.
There was quite a funny moment when I thought she was sort of slightly backing away from the crown, but I think that was just because she was worried that the Archbishop was going to tread on her dress, so she was just sort of pulling herself back.
I think he was very proud of her. And I think there was a sense of, I can't believe it, we've made it.
What we'll do at an appropriate moment, we'll give them 3 cheers. And what I always do in the Navy is to throw my hand up in the right-hand side. 3 cheers for the King and the Queen. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! That's what we do. Okay. Now we'll have to wait.
Well, it was wonderful because everybody was in the it's a sort of grand entrance hall. There's all the household. And everybody gave them 3 cheers.
3 cheers for the King and Queen. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hooray! Hip, hooray!
Getting back to Buckingham Palace, what a relief. It's done and it's been brilliant. It was sort of almost take your shoes off.
Well, ask any actor who comes off stage, having done a performance that they really put a lot into. Is that kind of relief.
So William was wearing the robe of like the Royal Order of the Garter, which Kate will probably become like a member of before she's queen, and Kate is wearing the robe of the Royal Victorian Order.
And then to walk out to the terraces to see, I think it was 4,500 soldiers lined up in immaculate order.
3 cheers for His Majesty, the King, and Her Majesty, the Queen! Hip, hip! Hip, hip! Hip, hip!
He just loved that moment.
There was such an air of celebration. I mean, it's sort of cliche, but you could sort of feel the love. And then this extraordinary thing, which certainly we weren't expecting, being called out onto the balcony.
The King and the Queen will go out first, followed by, with the pages, followed by Your Royal Highnesses, the Waleses, and then the rest of the royal family.
Look at that.
Looking up the Mall, this amazing noise and the sea of faces and the cheering. I mean, it was mind-blowing. There's a wonderful shot just of the two of them. I mean, it makes me cry thinking of it. There they are.
Yes, he was the one in the kilt. Maybe you'll see him again. Who knows?
With the coronation over, it's back to work for the royal household. But there are summer highlights, which everyone looks forward to.
I'm a coachman at the Royal Mews, and we're just preparing for day 3 of Royal Ascot. It's the first big event since the coronation. Today we're running 3 bay teams, that's 12 horses, with just a grey team in front for the King and the Queen.
Look at that hat.
So in Windsor Great Park, the royal family get out of the cars and into the carriages. And then once all the guests are in the carriages, we'll be given a hats off and off we go.
Hello and welcome to Royal Ascot for day 3 here at the most famous racecourse on the planet.
Today is a poignant moment for the King. This is his first Royal Ascot without his mother. She was a passionate lover of racing.
The late Queen had a tremendous ability to understand the horse from when she was a princess, very young. She loved the breeding side of it and tried to develop a horse, as she once said, that can just run faster than someone else's. The King and the Queen have very much committed themselves to carry on the mantle which the late Queen set up for them to inherit.
The King has a horse running in one of the big races of the day.
All right, we're underway. The King George V Stakes, the 1 mile, 4 furlong race, and we've got some local interest in this. Desert Hero is owned by the King. It's going to be quite tough. Burglar is the favourite here, ridden by Frankie Dettori.
Champion jockey Frankie Dettori is racing against the King's horse.
And here comes the King's horse dashing through the middle. It could be a win for His Majesty the King. Yes, it is!
Wow.
Royal Ascot, very royal, as Desert Hero becomes the first winner for King Charles III and Queen Camilla.
He came from absolutely nowhere.
For the King and Queen to have got themselves a gold medal, it brought the house down. They had tears in their eyes in the box. They were so touched by it.
Well done. Your first Royal Ascot win. Yeah, amazing.
Brennan.
Morris was tiny. I was looking at yours and he was weaving his way for it, but I couldn't really tell if it won or not. When I heard the cheers, it is definitely one. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Never thought you could get through all that.
And how close was it? Brilliant. Brilliant. How amazing. First year, boom, winner. Right?
Yeah. My late mama won this race in 1955.
Oh my God.
So she would have been so thrilled.
I know. I think she'd be more thrilled for you to be here for 5 days straight.
I don't think I could do another winner. It would be too much.
I think we should make our way to the paddock
Better go, come on.
before I miss my ride.
Yeah, all right.
Of course, we're all waiting for Frankie Dettori to see if he might get a win as well, because it's his final Royal Ascot.
Courage Mon Ami is 6-1 at the moment, so Frankie Dettori with a chance.
We've had the King winning, so we now want a Frankie winner. That would just top the day off.
Yeah, not out the question. So they're heading down the hill. Keep an eye on Courage Mon Ami, who's coming well. Frankie Dettori, this could be his crowning glory at Royal Ascot. We've got Coltrane, the local horse, up against Courage Mon Ami into the final furlong. They're neck and neck. Frankie Dettori slides ahead. Courage Mon Ami takes over the running. And it's Courage Mon Ami and Frankie Dettori, his crowning glory at Royal Ascot, a 9th Gold Cup win. Who writes that man's script?
This is a double whammy. We've got the King presenting the trophy to Frankie Dettori. Incredible scenes down here.
I think Queen Elizabeth would be very proud of her son, King Charles, that he's had his first winner. and is supporting what she loved for so many years, horse racing. He's really took Royal Ascot on board and he's enjoyed the whole package, and may long continue.
It's late summer and the countryside is in bloom. The king is enjoying one of his passions, nature. Today, he's visiting a stretch of coastline which is being named in his honour.
We're at one of England's 220 national nature reserves. This one was first established in 1968. But right now, Natural England is working with partners to make this reserve much, much bigger, to make a super national nature reserve covering more than 30 square kilometres. Because what we're in the process of doing in England at the moment is moving beyond what we used to call conservation and moving into a period of nature recovery. So this is a new generation of national nature reserves, and that new generation we're calling the Kings series.
Has it got better and better?
Well, this is dune grassland, and this habitat is fantastic for insects of all kinds, including butterflies, and also
a toad.
And here we are. Look, here we are. Now this is a very rare species. You'll be aware, natterjack toe with a yellow stripe.
They were originally found in quite a lot of Lincolnshire, in the Fenland as well as along the coast. And now we just have the one population in Lincolnshire.
Because of the loss of their habitat, presumably.
Yes.
But we've had a really good success story. It's the population is booming at the moment.
One of the things about King Charles's contribution on the environmental side is that not only has he got enormous depth to what he thinks and says about all of this, but also enormous longevity on his contribution, of course.
We are faced at the moment with the horrifying effects of pollution in all its cancerous forms.
Right now, up to 15 million people are at risk in the dry lands of Africa. The conclusion I draw is that the future of mankind can be assured only if we rediscover ways in which to live as part of nature, not apart from her.
He is, I think, possibly the most significant environmentalist the world has seen, given that he's been doing this for 50 years, and he's been ahead of the curve on pretty much every single subject.
It's rather wonderful to see quite so many butterflies at the moment,
Yes.
suddenly.
You've timed your visit very well. The sun's just come out. We've got some butterflies at the front.
well
Do you want me to go through them?
Yeah, sure. We have the Essex skipper in the front,
Essex skipper,
which is lovely.
Mm.
And we know it's an Essex skipper because of the antennas. Would you like to
that.
release one?
I'd simply love to.
Of course.
Which one?
We have the gatekeeper, if you'd like to release.
Right.
Just simply open, just turn the top.
Yes.
And you...
Yeah, I imagine with the sun out, it'd be quite keen to fly away.
Yes.
for a
There
bit.
we go, lovely.
I think his motivation comes from his love of nature, his continuing interactions with nature, and the fact that we still can make a difference if we wish to. In England, there's no really, truly wild habitat left. So we do have to intervene and we do need to manage in order to hang on to these wonderful species of animals and plants that we have here.
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
Yeah.
But of course, half the thing has been the combination of man and nature over all these generations, which produce so many of the fascinating habitats and species that have
I
come
mean,
from these.
do I have a crush on Charles? Charles is very dapper and very regal. He like wears it. Like, how can you not? I mean, come on. Like, he's a gentleman. I mean, I don't know. I would say I probably have more of a crush on William than on and definitely a crush on Lieutenant Colonel Johnny Thompson. Definitely. But I don't know. There's something very dapper and regal and like debonair about Charles, and I don't know.
How to maintain that sort of relationship seems to me the important thing.
Like all environmentalists, the king, I think, is an optimist. Considering the effort that he still puts in to trying to get people to come together and think about solutions.
I'm just happy we're having
You
a
have to be an
royal break.
optimist
Okay,
to want to
old Jim
invest
Bob.
the
I'm
time
just
in that kind of
happy about
process.
doing content that's not drama.
So I think we need to wander down.
Yeah.
I just
Right. It's rather wonderful to see that sea lavender, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Just a short moment when you can see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And up here, look, we just have a kestrel to wave us farewell as we walk down.
Those keen eyes.
The King and Queen's first year is nearing its end, and the pace has been unrelenting. It's September, and the King and Queen have returned to Balmoral to recharge their batteries.
I think Scotland is where they both relax. He's been there all his life for long summer holidays, and I think she has really grown to love it.
Officially, this is royal downtime.
Yeah.
But for the King, the day job continues.
Red box.
Good morning.
Red box.
Morning, sir.
That's where all the King's papers come every day in the red box.
Yes. Another day, another box.
Looks like the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Exactly. So the red boxes come in pretty much every day of the year, except Christmas Day and Easter Monday. It is quite an interesting crop today, which is handy. Yeah. They contain all of the documents that the King's going to have to look at, be they from the government, from the church, from the military. Foreign Secretary asks if Your Majesty would send a message to the King of Sweden, who's, can you believe it's his golden jubilee in the middle of this month.
Oh, great. Is this in Swedish?
Yes, James.
Splendid. So I hope that's right. Is it the Swedish?
Is it? Well, it is.
Yeah, right. You never know if somebody's fed you something frightful to say.
That would be very...
You've no idea that you've done it. So I know exactly.
So the King is an incredibly hard worker. I think that's one of the things that pretty much everybody knows about him. He works till very late at night, often well beyond midnight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Then we move on to the Ministry of Defence. And of course, after 50 years as Prince of Wales, he's developed huge experience and expertise in an incredibly wide range of issues and interests.
It's always quite fun looking through to see if I can find names, you know, which remind me of people I served with.
Yes.
In the Navy who may have sons. I mean, I did find one last year.
Oh.
So that's interesting, that name.
Yes.
Because he'd been a commanding officer of a mine hunter at the same time as I had.
Gosh,
and when I asked, and it was true, it was his son who'd become an admiral.
It was his son.
It shows how long ago. So I wrote to my old friend and said, I'm so glad to have discovered it.
Challenge as always with these things to make sure we
know, not to put your big finger on it,
Exactly.
which has happened.
It has indeed, sir. It has indeed.
It's a tradition that every September, the monarch invites some special guests to Balmoral.
Our Prime Minister, how are you?
Good evening, Majesty. Very nice to see you again. Good evening, Your Majesty.
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you for having us.
How were the games?
They were splendid.
Yeah.
At least
quite
it was reasonably dry.
It is not, my usual weekly audience. It's a group of friends, family, invited guests who are staying for a weekend. Lots of dinners, lunches, lots of walks, and lots of eating. I mean, a lot of food. We have to figure out how to work up an appetite in the next couple of hours before dinner.
God, I'm sorry about that. We'll send you out for a run.
Right, that's what Johnny was saying, but such a nice evening, actually.
Lieutenant
I
Colonel
think It's
Johnny.
been an incredibly successful year. I mean, I've had the pleasure and the privilege of spending time with him over that year, and I've just seen him do it in his own way, as of course he should do, and do it brilliantly.
Dog. King has a dog.
I just love the way
That's all we need
the
to know.
sun comes through the curtains.
It's marvelous, isn't it?
What's this one here?
Which one?
They are an extraordinary team, and I think it's whether they've sort of had to fight to get there or whether it's just because they've been through a lot together, and it's made them have a really strong bond.
Where's your ball, Beth? There. Oh, don't leave it.
They're all busily eating grass. What are you doing?
She loves eating grass. I think it's her greens for the day.
They're both huge walkers, very fit, both of them.
So well exercised.
Her with her mad dog.
I saw a video on YouTube not too long ago where like maybe it was on Instagram, I don't know, but like it was this group of like bikers that were just like biking across Scotland, and they just ran into the king. The king was out walking by himself on a path through Scotland, and like these bikers just like ran into him and like filmed the interaction with him, and he was like so gracious, and it was lovely. Anyway, we're almost done, guys. Let's wrap it up.
The last time she was in here, she found
I know.
a mice.
I know she.
And the whole lot.
Yeah.
Horrible little creatures.
Yes.
Reappeared a bit later.
She is his rock. And I can't actually emphasize that enough. She's somebody who is completely loyal, and she isn't somebody who has huge highs and lows. He brings to her everything. I'm not talking about all of this, but he has such a knowledge and interest in so many different things which she wouldn't really have been open to if she hadn't met him.
It's lovely to guide this on that bridge. Every child, when it comes here, they rush there and bite spout on the bridge for hours.
You can't get it to come.
There's the yin and yang. Really.
I know,
They-
but that's
they really
okay.
are
We can
polar
still dream.
opposites, but I think it works brilliantly.
Okay.
Most of us, as we get to this sort of age, are thinking, yes, quiet times, but theirs is just going to go like that, isn't it?
That's it. I guess that's it. That's it. That was our royal break. How's everyone doing? Was that fabulous? Was it regal? Was it everything? I'm so glad we did that. That was so fun. I know that like royalty is not like everyone's thing, like it is my thing. I understand it, but I needed that break. All right, guys, that's all I have. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. Oh no, like my filigree on my tiara is like, indeed. We did need the break. We needed it. We needed it. It was fabulous. It was everything. It was everything. I love royalty. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys have a great Friday. I don't know when I'm going to be streaming next because I'm still on vacation. But if I don't see you guys before New Year's, Happy New Year. We're going to go back to socialism in 2024. It's going to be great. But guys, have a good night, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.